Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today I want to remind everyone that in the history of cryptocurrencies, more than once, November bull runs begin in South Korea, and I want to go over a little bit of the history of this and also show you part of the reason why. What you're looking at is today's cryptocurrency market, okay? And it's not a coincidence that BitHum is on top. BitHum is I think one of the top 2 or 3 largest exchanges in the world for crypto. BitHum is in South Korea. Last year's bull run, many people have forgotten this. Last year's bull run began with Bitcoin, a Bitcoin rise. And when I say last year's bull run, last year's XRP bull run began with a Bitcoin rise in November. And it began in South Korea. And I'm going to show you. But this morning, if you look at how these exchanges around the world, so many of them are down, but there's only one. It's up 4.67%, and that is South Korea. And I think I might know why. But I'm going to go through what happened last year so that you understand this is where these bull runs, most of the ones that I've seen have started over in Asia, somewhere over that way, in China or Asia. But I think South Korea has been the most common place because BitHum has been so huge for so long. But I'm going to show you why that that is the same area that cuts off a bull run, and I don't think that's a coincidence either. So let's look back. This is November 24th of 2017. This was when Bitcoin was going on its run. It says excuse me, I'm drinking some coffee here. I have been fighting a cold for 2 or 3 weeks and trying to do my best and stay away from the doctor. Anyway, this is from November 24th of 2017. Bitcoin price hits new all-time high in South Korea at 84.50. And then they mention down here, historically, South Korean Bitcoin exchange market has demonstrated high premiums amidst strong Bitcoin rallies. A surge in the price of Bitcoin usually triggers general customers and investors on major exchanges like BitHum to invest in Bitcoin, even with a substantial premium. And so the people over there are literally trading at higher prices. It is like a crazy crypto market over there, or has been, until what I'm about to show you. But remember, this is November 24th, 2017. Then this is November 27th of 2017. Bitcoin crosses 10,000. This is how crazy that market was going. Crosses 10,000 on BitHum, South Korea's largest exchange. So again, it says Bitcoin now 10,062 on large Korean exchange BitHum. And so South Korea literally began the bull run that we saw last year. And so what I wanted to show you now is, let's see what I had here first. This was, this right here is what happened. Remember when the crash began? It began, a lot of people don't remember this either. There was a couple of major things that I remember causing the cryptocurrencies to come down. Now I want to make an important point here because it happens every single time we have a bull run. The bull runs that we see in crypto dwarf anything you ever see in the stock market and traditional markets. But what happens is after about a month or month and a half, 2 months, in my opinion, what happens is the people that are in charge of the media in various parts of the country, I think they intentionally tank the market once they've taken their stuff off of the table, their investments, because it always comes from one of the governments, or it's a central bank issuing some sort of crackdown. I mean, I've seen it over and over and over. Well, in this case, last year on the 28th, and they always, the thing I find hilarious is that it's always done they always come out and say, well, this market's getting overheated and we're worried about the consumers. Well, I laugh at that, because what do you think overrides their thinking more? They're concerned for consumers, or the fact that these governments are parked in Bitcoin and they're making a mint off of it and they're manipulating the market? Now, they won't be able to do that over the long haul so much, but right now, the way the market is, they have been able to. But look, this is I just showed you, so basically in November of last year, Bitcoin started running up. And then at some point, XRP caught fire, and all the altcoins, it all kind of caught fire, and through December all the way to the beginning of January. Well, what happened at the beginning of January? In the beginning of January, South Korea, who initiated this bull run, decides they're going to have a crackdown. This was on December 28th. And so this is something to look for. When we see the next bull run, this is something I will be looking for. It's something you should look for. This will happen again. You will see, all of a sudden they'll be concerned about the customers and consumers, and you'll see an article that'll come out, and it might be that China's issuing a crackdown, or China shut down an exchange, or this or that. It'll be something like that. And all of a sudden, you'll start seeing a wave of different news pieces that just start to implode the market. And so if you're not in this for the long term, that kind of thing might be a reason to take some years off the table. First time you see an article like that. But anyway, so 28th, Bitcoin price tumbles after South Korea joins cryptocurrency crackdown. And then, and the other thing I'll mention about these so-called crackdowns is that after the fact, you always find out it's just temporary. They'll say they're shut. I've even seen China's going to, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that China is going to make Bitcoin illegal. I've seen that many, 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 many times. Meanwhile, China's behind the scenes buying it and developing farms to mine for Bitcoin. And so if you look here, though, South Korea as a hub for digital currency trading, reportedly accounting for 20% of global Bitcoin transactions. Officials share the view that virtual currency trading is overheating irrationally, and we can no longer overlook this abnormal speculative situation. South Korean Minister for Government Policy. So anyway, they come in, they do a crackdown, and then they do an ICO crackdown, and it just creates a wave. Well, here's what the cherry on top that killed last year's bull run, and I think that it all should be placed on CoinMarketCap.com at their feet, because I will never forget this. This was the dumb. If they didn't know what they were doing, and I'm not saying they didn't know what they were doing, but if they didn't, they should have issued one of the largest apologies to the crypto world in the history of crypto, because what they did is, what I told you before, there was a disparity, like where XRP might be trading at 320 in the U.S. markets on the crypto exchanges. In South Korea, it was trading at 360 or 365 or 380 even. There was a big disparity. Well, what CoinMarketCap did, because I remember waking up to this. You wake up, they didn't say a word. You woke up one morning, you went to sleep, and their CoinMarketCap reflected the South Korean prices. So you went to sleep with XRP, I don't remember what it was, but say it showed 325. Then you woke up the next morning and it showed something like 285, because they stopped factoring in the South Korean market, but they didn't tell anybody. And so everybody woke up and freaked out. And that's what was the cherry on top of killing the bull market from last year. And I have to say, the things that you see done in this, oftentimes they don't make sense, but it really makes you wonder what kind of crazy manipulation is going on by governments around the world and some of the players in this, because it's really awful, some of the things I've seen done. Well, let's fast forward. This is an article I read this morning. This article is what got me to want to talk about this. because I don't forget South Korea, and you should not either. South Korea is of tremendous importance to the crypto market. BitHum, which is one of the largest exchanges in the world, is in South Korea, like I told you, and that is a key player. So this article came out this morning. Korea's top financial regulator, crypto exchanges should face no problems with banks. This is like clockwork, people. We're going into November, and if you think that those government officials in Korea do not know that November has been kind to cryptocurrencies, think again. Now you're starting to see all the positive articles. So now they're wanting to let us all know that, oh, these crypto exchanges should face no problems. We're on board. So they've been, like all the other countries of the world for the last year, they've been working on the regulatory framework and making sure that there's no problems in the crypto space. And so I'll read a couple of things. It says, the chairman of South Korea's Financial Services Commission has affirmed that crypto exchanges should face no issues with banking provisions. Local media platform Token Post reported on October 30th. And then they clarified that the banking support would be provided as long as exchanges have adequate anti-money laundering safeguards in place and apply robust know your customer checks. Okay? Well, I want to draw your attention to the last line in here. And this is what could spark your November bull run, and it wouldn't surprise me if it did. Choi's remarks come at a pivotal time for the Korean crypto sector, which awaits the possible announcement of a government decision in November over whether or not to repeal the country's local ban on ICOs, which has been in force since September of 2017. So, if it's this kind of little thing, now think about all the things you have coming up. In South Korea now, we know that in November that they could possibly repeal their ICO ban after laying some groundwork. Here in the U.S., we know that in December on the 12th, Bakkt Exchange opens, New York Stock Exchange's exchange. We also know that on the 5th of November, here in just a few days, they're going to revisit, SEC is going to revisit the Bitcoin ETFs. And this is for like a second or third or fourth time that they're revisiting this, in my opinion, under pressure from some of the people in the SEC. There could be very, very exciting things coming in November or December. I want to finish this video by going over this. I told you about @BigBakor. Remember, he was doing the XRP doing good. He wrote this blog post, and he had his own charity. He was working with a charity called Filter of Hope to provide the water filters for the underprivileged kids around the world. He sent me this yesterday and wanted me to let everybody know, to thank everybody. The XRP community has officially provided 100 water filters for families who do not have access to clean water. I'm humbled, amazed, and beside myself at the response from our community. You have shown what we can do when we unite to use our #XRP for good. And then there was one more thing here. I want to thank Cameron Stoner and @CryptoAussie TV for the final challenge to help us get to the 100 mark. There are so many who have challenged and, of course, donated. I could not have done this without you, XRP community. Thank everyone for bringing hope to families. And the digital asset investor would like to thank all of my listeners who helped out as well. And thank you for helping @BigBakor out. I am the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and never forget South Korea. Thanks for listening.